day number 43, 44, 45, I don't know at this point, I'm not keeping track, of being stuck inside in the house unless I'm going grocery shopping, and I'm beginning to hit that point where I am romanticizing 2019. Never thought I'd get there. It was a pretty shitty year, to be completely honest. I kind of miss it. I could go outside. I could do what I wanted. I can enjoy life in general. You know, 2020's been pretty dog shit, and to be completely frank, I really wouldn't mind going back to some of those good old days.
Are you serious?
Huh?
Like, are you serious about missing 2017, 18, and 19? Like, is that serious right now, or are you just fucking with me? Because I think you're fucking with me.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the best of times, but it certainly wasn't, like, the worst. I mean, like, yeah, shit happened, but, like, I'd rather go outside than deal with this.
You know what? Touche. However, I think you might have forgotten the little feminist debate on consent that was going on Twitter.
What do you mean, the debate on consent?
You're really gonna sit there and tell me you don't remember the woman that said choking women during sex is bad despite consent? Are you also gonna pretend that you don't remember, Gloria Steinem going after Pornhub and all that dumb shit that she said during that time? Really gonna pretend you don't remember that shit? I remember that shit real well.
You know what? Yeah, thanks for that. Now I'm gonna have to talk about it because that's all I can think of now, so thank you. Thank you for ruining my quarantine even further.
That's what I'm here for.
Hey guys, what you doing? It's me, the YouTuber that barely uploads yet is actually still alive. And yes, today we are going to be talking about the dumbass feminist takes that occurred before everything went to shit in 2020. Because honestly, to be frank, this last decade was full of dumb feminist takes, and I think we could all use a break from the coronavirus hysteria, and we could just take a moment to remember the stupid shit that was said in the name of feminism. Oh, and just to note, this video is gonna get a little personal. We're gonna be talking about some experiences I've had, some intimate experiences, because the subject is a form of intimacy, so if you think you're gonna get grossed out by all that, do me a favor and click off the video now. Okay? Cool. So we're just gonna start off with what ended 2019 and probably rung in the fucking cursed year of 2020 for all of us. There's a post that circulates around Twitter and probably every social media besides Facebook because, family friendly. And it's talking about how to choke somebody, if you're into that kind of thing. And this post somehow made its way to the far feminist depths of the internet and sparked this lovely gem. Stop choking women at all, you freaks. If you feel comfortable enough to wrap your hands around a woman's throat, you're a threat to women in general. Hey, Karen, I don't know if you know this, but some people can't just get off from a missionary. Some of us want to get a brief taste of death care, and some of us just happen to be into that. It's honestly women like this that make me regret having my bangs cut. I know I don't have the fucking TERF bangs, but like the fact that somebody can see me and think, oh my god, she fucking does this shit. Disgusting. I'd like to mention the heavy focus on the fact of women being choked. I know that the post originally talked about women being choked and all that. However, there are definitely men out there that like the same thing. It's called a kink, and consenting to said actions. You might want to get a dictionary if that's a hard concept for you. And I think she might need a dictionary considering the fact she went even further into this topic, so I read it, you're gonna have to too. There's no right way to choke a woman. I hate porn culture and the men who perpetrate it. Ah yes, let's once again forget that men can also like to have this done to them, and that this is a kink and therefore requires consent. Consent and women or men giving consent? Pfft, doesn't fucking matter. I say what goes in your bedroom. Before we get into the replies of this, I just want to say that I absolutely love how she ends this whole thing because it is peak bad feminism at its finest. At everyone who disagreed with me, if you've never read feminist critique on porn culture, never considered how female socialization and the patriarchy molds women's sexual preferences, or are a man, you owe me $20. Ah yes, my favorite thing in the world, the good old, if you disagree with me, you must be uneducated, or worse. Male. First of all, I have read critiques on porn because it is a subject that actually does interest me. I can't really tell you if they're necessarily feminist or not because I kind of just read whatever the fuck I want. But they all stick to this idea that porn is inherently tied to abuse and coercion, and to an extent, I think that actually could be true. To not go too into this, I think that it could be true in the consideration of Linda Borman's situation. If you don't know anything about that, I highly recommend you watch the movie Lovelace and read the book Ordeal. It focuses on Linda Lovelace, or Linda Borman's, experience in the porn industry. But I also think to an extent that it isn't true, and that's because of independently owned Pornhub channels and OnlyFans accounts that happen. I'm no expert on this subject, however, I would think that if porn was inherently tied to abuse and coercion and all that, you wouldn't see as many people running independent things and saying that this is the best change that they've made in their life. But that's just my observation on the topic. Industry-based porn, questionable. Self-produced porn, ethical. Secondly, saying big words doesn't mean that you are educated or any smarter or that you win, but you know, I'll bite. Hey, really quick warning, I'm gonna be talking about an abusive relationship and provide context for it, so please skip to this time if you just want to hear my main point to this, I guess. Okay, thanks, bye. My first ever boyfriend physically, mentally, and verbally abused me, and he pressured me into doing things until I consented. Essentially what I'm saying is he coerced me into doing things that I didn't want to do, but with the things he was saying, I felt like I had to do them. One thing he did was encourage his friend with glaringly obvious anger management issues was to choke me if I pissed him off, which is an offer his friend took up right away and numerous amount of times. And with that being said, I should be against women being choked consensually and during sex in general. However, I'm not. Because years later, I was with a new guy. We basically were talking about kinks and things, and while I was very scared to try to do it because of my experiences, I trusted him, we did this, and everything was fine. And it turns out I was into it. Because it wasn't a patriarchy thing, and it certainly wasn't a I'm a woman, therefore I have to be into this thing, because given my experience in the past, I don't think I had to be into it. It's just a kink that I'm into that I tried consensually with a guy I was with, and because of how it went, I decided I was into it. Basically, it boils down to being in the right scenario with consent. I don't know what's so hard to grasp about that. And regarding your last point, I'm not a dude. Much to some commenters' dismay, I'm sure. But really, who fucking cares what somebody's gender is when discussing this topic? People are allowed to have opinions on shit without you bringing up their gender as to saying why they're wrong. I mean, to be completely frank, it's really not that difficult to have a better counter-argument to you than this, even if I was a man. So, I think you should just take your L and move on, sis. Basically, people can definitely have an opinion on subjects that don't have the same one-sided education as you and are a different gender than you. To quote my boy Joaquin, now if you think this all ended here, you'd be sadly mistaken because people rip this argument to shreds very, very quickly. And this can be seen from this reply to her. Yes, some women like to be choked as well as some men too, as well as some person like BDSM. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't have to, but don't judge other people, kinks. The K-pop stans really said don't like, don't watch, and honestly, fuck them up. Unfortunately, feminist Bangosaurus Rex decided to basically reply with the stupidest tweet. I'll judge violence against women as much as I want to. Listen, with the glasses that you have on in your profile picture, I'd assume that you could actually read clearly, but since you're obviously blind, let me help you out a little bit. You clearly missed the part where they said some women and some men, so maybe take that into consideration one more time. But then again, you're probably just ignoring that part because you think hating men is literally a personality trait. Now, the person who made this original reply was basically getting along the lines as I was, basically saying that men can like to be choked as well, and it isn't a form of violence due to the one and only factor of consent. And because she cannot accept the fact that she's clearly wrong in this situation, Bangosaurus Rex decided to reply again. Bruh, violence is violence. I literally don't care if it makes someone nut. If you find violence attractive, then you're fucked up. I mean, I know I'm fucked up because, abusive first relationship and all that, and other things that have happened in my life. And I really don't think liking being choked outweighs that. She's ignoring the fact that consent plays a big role in distinguishing if something is actually abusive or violent to begin with. Because there is nothing more feminist than telling women what they can and can't do with their partners. Which, by the way, was apparently a very popular thing to go on this last decade because this has happened so much. No joke, in December of 2017, Gloria Steinem basically protested Pornhub's pop-up shop because, oh, it's the stupidest fucking reason. Pornhub is a hub of violence, Steinem said at a press conference attended by more than a dozen other activists. It's a hub of danger to women. It is a hub that, in this moment of consciousness that is engulfing this country now, we must realize is the source of the poison that is our system. Steinem posed a question to the worker. Why are you selling handcuffs? She said. What do handcuffs have to do with free will, or democracy, or independent equality? Sonny, why do you have ball gags to repress a woman's right to speak? Truly, there is nothing like an out-of-touch old lady speaking on things that she doesn't fucking know about. And yes, I am definitely saying that feminist icon Gloria Steinem does not know what the fuck she is talking about here, because clearly, if she did, we would not be discussing democracy. This isn't my fucking Western political thought class, Gloria. We are specifically talking about kinks, and kinks only. Honestly, I think it's actually hilarious that she went up to somebody and asked what handcuffs have to do with free will. Because to be frank, handcuffs have everything to do with free will. Because when you're using handcuffs in an intimate situation, Consent covers your free will. Gloria, your version of free will in this situation is covered by consent because I am giving up my right to move my fucking hands around in order to do something I like. That is consent, Gloria, and that is something I can openly give and take away to my partners if I want to. Just because I like being bossed around and tied up, Gloria, doesn't mean that I'm giving up, democracy. I'm pretty sure the American Democratic Institutes will still be in existence if my partner ties me to a bed. Basically what I'm trying to say here is when it comes to things that are kinks or could possibly be viewed differently outside of a intimate setting, such as the mentioned choking or restraining your partner, it all boils down to the big ol' C word, consent. Because if there is consent in this situation, it is not abuse and it is not violent, and if there is consent, I am not having my free will stripped away. And overall, aren't you technically stripping away my free will by telling me what I can and can't do in these intimate situations? Now, ladies, that's not very feminist of you, is it? Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I think we've learned a lot today, haven't we? We basically made this a fucking Sesame Street episode with you learning about the C word, good old consent. You also learned that Twitter feminists are no different than fucking Tumblr feminists, and that surprisingly Gloria Steinem is alive and kicking. By alive and kicking, I mean she's harassing store workers. Overall, a very nostalgic glance at 2017, 2018, and 2019, while 2020 is just going down the fucking drain. But even though it's not relevant, I hope you guys like this topic. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and it's, to be frank, sitting in my drafts for quite some time. So despite all of that, do your girl a favor here and like this video and subscribe to my dying YouTube channel. But yeah, until the next video, I will see you guys later. Bye!